instrumental in keeping your show circuit going locally. Can you talk a little bit about the thinking behind that and what happened?
Liz Swearingen, the president of Olympic Kennel Club, had given me a call Tuesday morning, I believe it was August 10th, and had said, well, she had sent me an email on the rules changing, and I jokingly, not jokingly, said, well, we should just do a vanilla dog show. 3 days, nothing, no specialties, just put on a simple show, right? And Luke Begenstoss at the same time was talking to Stacy Davis, who is also the show chair for Walla Walla. And they unfortunately couldn't do Walla Walla because their county was in phase 1 and the rules were for our county, which was phase 2. And Luke had also made a call to Chris Lydon, the show chair of Olympic Kennel Club.
Just for people who don't know the context, because this, of course, is a national publication, can you just take us back a little bit and talk about what the regulations were? What were you being told you couldn't do that you were working around?
Okay, so the new regulations that our governor had set was that agricultural events could happen. And they specifically mentioned dog shows. And outside there could be up to 50% of capacity. So whatever, and I'm sorry, I don't recall what the fairgrounds capacity is, but there could be 50% of capacity with social distancing required and or face masks if social distancing wasn't possible. Inside the regulations are up to 50% or 50 people max. So normally the show is like the toys and some of the specialties are inside, but everything was moved outside. So we quickly had gotten together, and they'd asked me, their normal grooming setup person had asked me or wasn't able to do the grooming, and I said, well, I'll figure it out. And as luck had it, Julia Rylander was able to, who is not a member of the club, but was able to accept all the grooming reservations and correspond with the exhibitors. And Penny King and Dinah Begenstoss and her set up the entire grooming building on Monday.
And which show is this, Terri?
Olympic Kennel Club in Enumclaw, Washington. So backing up a little bit to the conversation with Luke and Chris and Stacy and I, and Luke and Stacy and Liz, it ended up being the two kennel clubs coordinated and put together a 5-day cluster.
And which were the two kennel clubs?
Walla Walla Kennel Club and Olympic Kennel Club. So
you made a creative partnership.
Yes, one is very far southwest Washington, which is Walla Walla, and the Olympic Kennel Club is in the more northwest area.
And how many?
So about 229 miles apart normally.
And where did you wind up physically?
In Enumclaw, Washington, which is what the regulations allowed.
Because it was the right sort of physical space, or because it was somewhere between the two of you?
Because the Olympic Kennel Club is in phase 2, and Walla Walla was in phase 1 and wasn't able to meet the requirements. And Glenn Lycan was at AKC was instrumental in allowing the two clubs to work together.
How many entries did you have?
Roughly over 2,000 on the weekend.
That seems like a good number. What would it have been normally?
Well, normally the show is about 2,100, but with the Canadian border closed, they're about 25% of our normal entry.
But still, given the circumstances, that seems pretty robust.
Very good. It was very good, and the exhibitors were excellent. and everybody was very helpful and cooperative, and no issues.
What kind of feedback did you get for having tried it?
No one was excited about the pouring rain, but everybody was excited about the show. The judges were excellent. Ring stewards were excellent. They were very organized, and everybody was very happy there was a show without having to drive 2 days for.
For you as a handler, how important is it to be able to get your dogs out?
For me, it was really important. Just a sideline note, I'd had a stroke about a month ago. So mentally it was very good.
I have to say, I would not have known that unless you were doing wonderfully.
Yeah, I got lucky, but yes.
So this really feels like a return to the life you want.
Yes. Having the stroke was a lot of, okay, I got things to do. I got to make sure I'm taken care of. And, luckily I got the best medical help I could right away. So.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so sorry. What do you see as the future going forward? We obviously don't have an answer to the big health problem yet. How do you see things working out for the fancy?
Well, certainly I go back to the Southern Handlers Charity League, which is based, I believe, in the Oklahoma, Texas area, and them and Onofrio Dog Shows kicking off the first show gave a lot of hope to show chairs and clusters on it can happen, we can do this, and I think it was very important for the Northwest to have a show, showing the other clubs locally that to be creative, and we can do this, and we can go forward, and we can follow the rules, and we can be safe.
Do you feel that you helped to create one of the potential models, which is clubs coming together in some way?
I don't. I'm so much of a doer and not like a sales type person that I'm just like, let's do this. We can do this. I'll figure out how to get people to help, and I know the ones that will work, and so I feel like I'm more of a coordinator type position.
Do you think that one of the reasons this is working so well is something to do with the nature of the sport and the people who are in it?
I do, and I also give a big credit to Chris Lydon and Liz Sweargan. They and the fairgrounds, Renee, they really wanted this to happen, and there was a handful of people that really wanted to happen, and so it did. And Chris is a business guy, and he's very organized, and the mayor of the city was very, very much behind it happening, very supportive, the city council, the fairgrounds. So, I mean, there's a lot of people involved that really wanted it to happen.
So one of the reasons this works is that you remind people that these shows are part of a community.
Yes. And certainly it was great for the Enumclaw community. It's a small town, brought a lot of people to, we did takeout food because the weather wasn't great, but a lot of takeout food supported the local restaurants and groceries and fuel and hotels, and good for the community.
What's the next step for you personally?
Luke and I have coordinated with the Idaho clubs, and so we're headed over there Tuesday, Wednesday to help them set up. We volunteered to do the grooming for the Boise, Idaho show, so we'll lay that out on a week from Wednesday. We've made it known to the local clubs that we're here to support them, and so we'll be helping with the Vancouver shows at the end of the month and the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho shows at the end of the month, and just keep the positivity going along with working under the regulations.
Thank you so much for doing this. I know you're a busy woman.